Welcome to the Emporium Outdoors. My name is Michael, and today we're going to talk about the changes I've just made. So as the title suggests, I've made some significant changes with my setup and my life in general, and I'm actually quite comfortable with them. So I sold everything. I sold the Jeep, I sold my wonderful boat, and my beautiful motorcycle. So you're probably wondering, why did you do all that? Well, they weren't making me happy. Apart from the motorcycle, I actually love that. I sold that for a completely different reason. Let's start with the easy one, the motorcycle. So I sold the motorcycle because I want to get a different one. So I'm going to get another motorcycle is the bottom line. So I love the KTM. It was perfect for what it is, which is an all-round motorbike. You know, it's a kind of do anything type of ride, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted something more specific. Now I've figured that out, and I could have only come to that conclusion by buying the KTM and running that. But Fabulous does everything that you would want it to do, more or less, but I want a more specialist motorcycle. I want more of a dual sport off-road type motorcycle, and now I've been introduced to that side. I think that's the way I'm going to go. So I'll be picking up a motorcycle probably in the next, I don't know, few months or so. I'm just looking for a good deal on one. So I'm probably going to go with the Kawasaki KLX 300, the Honda 300L or 300L Rally or something like that. Not sure yet. So I sold my boat as well, and I love that boat. I love that setup. I think it was a fantastic bit of equipment, but I just wasn't using it. I think last year I maybe used it 3 times. And it's a lot of money to be sat there, but I can't effectively enjoy. Alberta's not known for its fishing, mostly, unless you go up north. And yeah, I just thought I'm going to move on from boating right now. If I move to somewhere there's good access to lakes, etc., then I'll maybe pick up another boat, and it'll be a very similar setup actually. So the boat wasn't making me happy. It wasn't getting the most use out of it, I should say, to make me happy. So to explain the Jeep, it's going to take a bit more explaining. So I used to live in north of Edmonton, so kind of central Alberta, and as you know from my previous videos, I used to drive off to the forest, take my Can-Am Defender or my Argo or my Honda side-by-side. I'd go off into the boreal forest and I'd spend a day or two out there, and I loved it. That's my happy places in the forest. So we moved to Medicine Hat for my wife's work, and we've been here 3 years in August, and it hasn't been a good time. I'll be honest with you, I don't normally introduce my personal life into my videos. This is really about my activities, not my life. But as soon as we got here, my wife got sick. She was off work for maybe 2.5 years, so it was very stressful. My content really took a big hit. I wasn't able to get out as much. I was worried about my wife, so I tried to spend as much time at home as well as film videos, and it was a time crunch. So it was not good. I was torn between 2 places, and it was a lot further to get to anywhere remotely close to where I used to camp, in the sense of forests, etc. So I took my Can-Am out a couple of times with the truck on a trailer, and it just didn't feel right. I didn't know the area. I wasn't comfortable leaving all my equipment out there, my truck, my trailer, then heading off. I did it a couple of times, but just always anxious I'd get back and my truck would be stripped. You know, it's one of those things. I've never had anyone kind of steal anything from my truck or anything like that. But it's always in the back of your mind when you're kind of doing remote camping, where you unload your equipment, lots of people back and forth. So I decided, you know what, why not get rid of my truck, get rid of the trailer, the Can-Am, everything, buy a Jeep. Makes sense. I can go off with the Jeep and I can explore. I could drive to the forest, I can explore the forest in the Jeep, and life's going to be good. No worries about leaving stuff behind. yeah, didn't work out so much. So I spent over $70,000 on the Jeep. I think it was like 72 or 74,000 for a high-end Jeep. I plowed in another $10,000 into like the rooftop tent, the rack, compressor, winch, the usual stuff. And at that point, first time I really took it off road, I was like, do I really want to wreck all this stuff? And it's a lot of money to be taken down a cut line. So probably didn't think that through, but I wasn't prepared to kind of trash my investment just to get down a cut line that I could get down on a ATV or a UTV without even blinking. So the Jeep was a mistake for me anyway. I enjoyed it for what it was, and it's a very capable machine. I know people love them, they have a great following, but it was a pig on gas. I was getting maybe 15 litres per 100, which is about 15 miles per gallon. I was on stock tyres and stock suspension, so you know it should have been getting better mileage, but once you put a rooftop tent on top and a roof rack and you start loading it up, your gas mileage is going to crater. And it wasn't comfortable to drive. It was great when you were doing kind of off-road or you know some of the dirt tracks, etc. It's what it's designed for. So it did very, very well. But actually getting to that point, that 3-hour drive each way, the Jeeps are just not very comfortable, and they get blown around a lot in the wind. So it was not a good experience going back and forth. It wasn't very relaxing compared to my F-150, for instance. So that's kind of an overview of where we are right now. Sold all my 3 biggest assets, I guess. And I guess the bonus fourth part is I'm probably going to be moving from Medicine Hat. I'm going to move back up north, back to central Alberta, probably west of Edmonton, back to where the forests are. And I'm going to buy some property up there, hopefully with some land, maybe 40 acres or a quarter section would be great, and just a little house. That's all I'd like. And then I can just go off into the forest. If I can get some land that's adjacent to Crown land, which is public lands, then I can ride my ATV or quad or snow machine or whatever straight from my garage, straight out into the bush. That's my dream. So one of the things I've learned in life is if you make a mistake, then put it right. Accept that you've made a mistake. So that's what I've done. I've cleaned the decks and we're back to a blank canvas again. The house move is going to take a little bit of time, but I'm pleased about the changes, and I think it's going to work out great. I'm very confident that I can figure something out where I can tick all those boxes and be happy once more, get back to the forest, get back to making really good content that you guys like, and just really go back to what I enjoy. I think people can see that in your videos when you're enjoying something. So let me show you where we're at on that new transition. So this is my new travel trailer. This is what I just picked up. So this is a Grey Wolf 22 toy hauler, and it's a tin-sided model, and this is our first night out camping in it. So I've been fixing it up over the last couple of weeks, and we like it very much so far. There's a few other things I have to look at, but this is going to work out great. It means I can put my ATV in the back or a small UTV, and we can head off. I can spend a week out camping without worrying about getting home again, and I can work out the trailer if I wish. I'm going to get Starlink because I work remotely through my work anyway, so it doesn't really matter where I am as long as I'm logged on and capable of making telephone calls and all that good stuff. So that's what I swapped some of that stuff for. This is my next big purchase. So I went and bought myself a Toyota Tundra. This is the SR5L. It's 2024 model, and it's in the black. And that was my first time towing with it yesterday, and this is a wonderful machine. I'm very pleased with it so far. It's incredibly quiet, very, very quiet, nice and powerful. It reminds me of my old F-150, but it fixes a couple of things that the F-150 I didn't like. My old F-150 was a long box. The only Tundra you can buy that has a long box is this model. You got an option of one. So it does have this double cab. Well, actually it's kind of a double cab or extended cab, not a crew cab. So it has these shorter doors. My F-150 used to have the suicide doors at the back, which was always a pain because you have to open the main door, then open the other door. And this model also has the Softex interior, whereas my other F-150 was a cloth trim. The only thing I have to fix is this one doesn't come with towing mirrors. That's the only option that I wanted and I couldn't get. In Canada, you get what you're given. In the US, you can specify a lot more in Toyotas. But yeah, I'm loving the truck so far. Love some of the features of it, and I'll kind of show you again in another video perhaps. Do a quick walk around on some of the things I like. Lots of Tundra videos out there, so I won't kind of go into everything, but there are some unique things that I'm planning to do to this and have done to it so far that you might be interested in. So you're all caught up to speed, so there won't be any more Jeep content. I have a few more Jeep things in the pipeline that I might or might not publish, and I might do a final sign off for the Jeep with my thoughts in more detail if you think you'd be interested in that. It is sad. I always wanted a Jeep, but I'm glad I'm out from under it, if I'm perfectly honest with you. It's a bit of an Argo an Argo type vehicle. If those people that have watched the channel for a long time, you'll remember the Argo. I kept it for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and sold that thing right away. Always wanted an Argo. It was one of my top things I ever wanted. Got it, loved it, hated it, loved it, hated it. And it was a bit like that with the Jeep. It was, some days I'd love it. I was so enamored by what it could do. Other days I was just like, oh my God, if I've got to drive this another 3 hours, I'm gonna, yeah, you get the point. So I'm glad the Jeep's gone. I'll probably miss it. Will I buy another Jeep? Maybe. Might be an older one. I think that's the way to do it, is get an older Jeep. They don't care too much about it. Spend the money, put some decent axles under it, and just use it. I would never buy a brand new Jeep again. I think they're overly expensive, and if you are planning on doing some serious off-roading or taking it into some tricky spots, then it's gonna get expensive real quick. So let me know in the comments what you think of the changes. I'm excited for the future. I think it's gonna really relieve some of that pressure to get to and from places. I can get out there, I can spend the whole weekend, and I can take the quad, I can go out for a night, camp in the quad, come back, put it in the trailer, spend a night in the trailer, get a shower. It's going to be great. My wife can stay in the trailer on her own or with friends while I go off and do camping. So I can bring the dogs with me, I can bring my wife, friends, etc. And then I can use that as a base and then just head off. So that's my thoughts behind the new camper. It's going to give me a lot more time out in the bush, and it's going to make things like filming and actually editing the videos before I even get home. Sometimes I can get most of it done while I'm actually in the camper. So that's my big update. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you have sold the Jeep? Would you have done all the changes? What do you think of my plans going forward? And as always, until next time, take care. Easy. Go get the squeakers. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, leave me a comment, maybe a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.